Why are people eating only meat? Hi everyone. So, I've got a question for you. What if I told you there's a growing community of people who eat nothing but steak, eggs, and bacon? And they're claiming it's the healthiest they've ever been? I know. I know. It sounds absolutely wild, right? We've been told our whole lives to eat more vegetables, more fiber, more whole grains. But thousands of people are doing the exact opposite and reporting incredible health transformations. Today, we're diving deep into the carnivore diet, what it is, why people are trying it, and whether there might actually be something to this meat-only approach. Stick around because this might challenge everything you thought you knew about nutrition. Alright, let's start with the basics. The carnivore diet is exactly what it sounds like. You eat only animal products. We're talking beef, pork, lamb, fish, seafood, eggs, and sometimes dairy like butter and cheese. That's it. No fruits, no vegetables, no grains, no beans, no nuts. Just meat, salt, and water. Now there are variations. Some people go full lion diet. Literally just beef, salt, and water. Others include a wider variety of animal foods, with organ meats like liver being particularly prized for their nutrient density. But the core principle stays the same. If it didn't come from an animal, it's not on the plate. This creates a zero-carb diet that puts your body into ketosis, where you're burning fat for fuel instead of glucose from carbs. Sound familiar? It's basically keto taken to the extreme. So here's where it gets really interesting. People aren't trying this diet just for fun. They're reporting some pretty dramatic results. Let me share what I found from doctors actually using this approach with patients. Dr. Anthony Chaffee runs carnivore programs specifically targeting conditions like obesity, type 2 diabetes, Crohn's disease, lupus, and other autoimmune disorders. And people are reporting these conditions going into remission. One nutritionist I came across described spending a decade on a plant-based diet that led to a mental health crisis. After switching to carnivore, depression gone, medications stopped, mental clarity restored. Dr. Robert Tsai, known as the carb addiction doc, treats this whole thing like addiction medicine. He argues that many of us are literally addicted to carbs and sugar, using them to manage emotions just like drugs. His approach helps people become fat burners instead of sugar burners. The weight loss factor. Here's something pretty compelling. People are losing significant weight without being hungry. Think about that. Most diets leave you feeling deprived and counting every calorie. But on carnivore, the high protein and fat content keeps you satisfied. Many practitioners report just not being hungry for the first time in years. And it makes sense, right? No insulin spikes from carbs means less fat storage. High satiety means you're not constantly thinking about your next meal. The autoimmune connection, this is where things get really fascinating. A huge portion of carnivore dieters are people with autoimmune conditions who've tried everything else. We're talking rheumatoid arthritis, psoriasis, inflammatory bowel disease, chronic fatigue. The theory? Plants contain defensive compounds, things like lectins, oxalates, and phytates, that can trigger inflammation and immune reactions in susceptible people. By eliminating LL plant foods, you're doing the ultimate elimination diet. And here's what's wild. People with conditions labeled incurable are reporting complete remission. Now these are anecdotal reports, not clinical trials, but when you hear hundreds of similar stories, it makes you curious, doesn't it? Now, carnivore advocates have this whole evolutionary perspective that's pretty interesting. They argue that for most of human history, especially during ice ages, our ancestors relied heavily on animal foods. Hunting was our superpower. Dr. Sean Baker, who literally wrote the best-selling book on this and went on Joe Rogan's podcast, calls it getting back to the proper human diet. The idea is that agriculture only started about 10,000 years ago. A blip in evolutionary terms, and our bodies have adapted to all these grains and modern foods. Now, full transparency here. Biological anthropologists will tell you humans were actually adaptable omnivores who ate whatever was available. There wasn't one ancestral diet, but there is something intriguing about the fact that we can thrive on animal foods alone, while we definitely can't thrive on plants alone. That tells us something, right? Okay, I know what you're thinking. But don't we need vegetables? What about vitamin C? What about fiber? Here's what carnivore advocates point out. Animal foods, especially organ meats, are incredibly nutrient-dense. You get all essential amino acids, vitamin B12, which only exists naturally in animal products, highly absorbable heme iron, and active forms of vitamins A, D, and K2. Fresh meat actually contains some vitamin C, not a ton, but apparently enough when you're not consuming carbs that compete for vitamin C absorption. And as for fiber, well, thousands of people are reporting better digestion without it. Makes you question conventional wisdom, doesn't it? The real advantage might be bioavailability. The nutrients in animal foods are just easier for our bodies to use. Plant iron versus heme iron from meat? Not even close in terms of absorption. Something I found really surprising: the number of people reporting mental health improvements. We're talking relief from depression, anxiety, brain fog, even ADHD symptoms. Think about it. Stable blood sugar means no energy crashes or mood swings. You're eliminating processed carbs and sugar that create that roller coaster effect. Plus, you're providing tons of healthy fats and amino acids your brain needs for neurotransmitter production. People describe experiencing mental clarity they've never had before. That alone might be worth exploring for some folks. Can we talk about how ridiculously simple this is? No calorie counting, no macro tracking, no complex meal prep. Shopping? Hit the meat counter, done. Cooking? Season your steak. Cook it, eat it. No more decision fatigue about what to eat. No more conflicting nutrition advice making your head spin. Just ... Eat meat when you're hungry. Stop when you're full. For busy people or anyone overwhelmed by diet complexity, that simplicity is genuinely appealing. Now, here's the thing. You don't have to go full carnivore to explore this approach. A lot of people do what's called ketovore, primarily meat-based, very low-carb, but maybe you're including some low-carb vegetables or dairy. It's about finding what works for your body. Maybe you do a 30-day carnivore reset to see how you feel, then add back foods one at a time to see what works. It's an experiment in self-discovery. Programs like Dr. Chaffee's Carnivore Challenge give you community support, weekly Q&As with doctors, and guidance through the transition. You're not figuring this out alone. Look, I want to be real with you. Mainstream medicine is skeptical of this approach, and for good reason. There aren't long-term clinical trials. We don't know what happens after decades on this diet. Conventional concerns about saturated fat, lack of fiber, and missing phytonutrients are valid questions that deserve serious research. But here's the counterpoint. Conventional nutrition hasn't exactly solved our chronic disease epidemic, has it? Diabetes, obesity, autoimmune conditions are all skyrocketing, despite everyone following the food pyramid recommendations. Maybe, just maybe, it's worth questioning the conventional wisdom that hasn't been working for so many people. So here's my take. Whether you think the carnivore diet is genius or crazy, you can't ignore the thousands of people reporting life-changing results, people getting off medications, reversing incurable conditions, finally feeling good in their bodies. Could it work for you? Maybe. Could it solve that health issue you've been struggling with? Possibly. The only way to know is to explore it yourself. Maybe you try 60 days or even 30. Maybe you just need to try. Start by adding more animal protein to your current diet, decreasing the non-animal-based ones until probably about 95+% all animal. Maybe you use it as an elimination protocol to figure out what's been bothering your system. Your body is unique. Your health is your own, and you deserve to feel amazing. If you're curious about trying a meat-focused or ketovore approach, start simple. Add more quality animal foods. Reduce the processed carbs. See how you feel. Listen to your body. Who knows? You might just discover the missing piece to your health puzzle. Thanks so much for watching. If you found this interesting, hit that like button and subscribe for more content exploring alternative approaches to health and wellness. Drop a comment below. Have you tried carnivore or keto? What was your experience? Until next time, stay curious, stay healthy, and remember, you're the expert on your own body.